Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so walked around Hollywood Boulevard enough. Now it's time to go home and eat. Figured I'd see how long my phone could stay on. It's at 29% right now. And usually talking on this thing to you guys for as long as I intend to would probably kill the entire battery. So we'll see if I'm able to beat that battery expectancy. But yeah, today was okay. It was quiet. I'm very thankful that the Lord allowed me to pay the hotel bill. Thankful for my family helping me as they always do. Couldn't be more thankful and grateful and humbled by my circumstances. Continuously humbled by these circumstances, but you know, we get through them as a family, and that's what I'm thankful for. And hopefully that, for which their example has shown, can give me the ability to give as they've given to me, if I'm ever put in a position to have enough to give. Or maybe it's not money that I'm able to provide, but something else equally as important. Someday, in some way, will I be more grateful than I found myself being in the past. Though I had plenty enough to be grateful for before this. My mother had done so much for me and so many others throughout along the way, but I think this is a different type of thing. It's a different type of humility that I expect to receive from this particular situation. So yeah, grateful and thankful. You know, I think if anything, I don't feel like walking, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I think that's what it is for me. It's just fighting against the lack of energy that comes with just getting older, I think this is, or maybe already being sore from some of the other workouts. I know I feel it around my waist area. It's like a certain level of fatigue that just comes from all these damn squats I've been doing. But you know, not having done my other squat regimen is something that I really am cognizant of. I don't think I've done it in like 5 days or 4 days. So that for which needs to be done is something that's on my mind. I just haven't had the desire to actually get it done for whatever reason. But nevertheless, I'm still thankful that I feel as good as to force myself to walk anyway. And of course, if you've been following today's activities, I've been walking for the past 2 hours, basically. So that's really the reality of it. I've been walking. But, you know, I just wanted to get that type of exercise in, get that type of video in. Enjoyed talking about my food likes. I forgot to mention you guys the Fat Burger one. What I used to get from Fat Burgers has to be fat fries. Had to be with grilled onions, just like any other grilled onions hamburger situation. They have to be grilled. But you know, I don't eat like that these days, man. And I'm thankful that I know better than to expect that will allow me to continue to maintain my workout goals and my physique, the physique I'm trying to develop. Especially at this age, you just can't do it. Now, if I were in my 20s, I could probably get away with it much more. But now, with the body headed in another direction, about to be 40, I gotta really, really be disciplined if I want to look a certain way and feel a certain way. And so that's just what I want. I want to look and feel a certain way. So stopping at my favorite burrito spot in front of me, Los Burritos, probably ain't it. You know what I mean? Eating that way just doesn't get very far these days. So that's what it is. But I'm thankful I've been able to enjoy those foods that, you know, as a young person, my mother didn't raise me so strict to where I've never tried stuff like that and now want to try it. You know what I mean? That kind of thing is a real thing. You know, as much as I complain about how we used to eat, I was able to enjoy all of that. And so that's really what I have to also be thankful for, is that I don't desire to try, most for which I've already tried. And so that's what it is. Thankful that the Holy Spirit is giving me a balance of what no longer needs to be versus what it is I've already had and all of that. Versus what it is I would otherwise desire right now, rather. And now I can just move forward in discipline, for which I want to carry forward into my old senior days. You know, 25 years from now, I want to still have good eating and activity habits, man, so that as the body ages, so too can my ability to stay disciplined and share that discipline with others by way of example. And you know, a lot of times people who have kids late in life, for which I hope to be able to, want the energy to be able to keep up with their kids as they grow into their later stages. A lot of people have kids in their 20s, stuff like that, not me. So it's like, if I'm gonna be in the type of shape that I hope to be in, to at least be able to be energetic to get up in the morning and take them to school, I gotta be continuing that process now in discipline. And so that's what it is, man, discipline and strength, for which we talked about in the first video on the way to the train station. That strength that comes from just asking the Lord for preparing us for what is to come, regardless of whether we believe we know what it is or not, regardless of it's whether or not we perceive it as something that would be needing strength or not, to ask him for the requisite amount of strength for whatever what may. And so that's what I'm here to say once again. So that's really been the lessons of the conversations on this channel today, man. Very proud of those conversations. Very happy they came out the way they did. And hopefully we can continue to provide the content that has substance in it, as well as something that gives you an authentic understanding of who it is I am. And that's what I'm about. So yeah, man, no Laker game tonight. They'll be playing tomorrow. Got a big game, tournament game. Looking forward to giving y'all content on that. And you know, I'm kind of glad there's no Laker game, because sometimes it puts me in a position to have to hurry up and get home, depending on what time it starts, or it affects my night to where I have to stay up later in certain situations if I want to go to sleep early or whatever. So some nights it's actually you feel like watching the game. Other nights you would much rather just not have the burden of having to keep up with any type of schedule whatsoever in regards to your late night or your midday. And so today's one of them days I'm kind of glad they don't play, to be honest with you, because I didn't really feel like having anything tied to me. And sometimes when the team doesn't play well, it makes it even worse. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, you definitely feel like watching them when they're doing well, but when they're struggling and you got to already kind of burden yourself with the schedule because you do this on this channel like I do, it's like, man, y'all better play well. That's kind of how that attitude goes. But you know, they did play well in the last one. I was very, very pleased with that. So hopefully with my team being healthier now, we have more to talk about in a positive light. Like Jason Kidd was saying, he wants a team to speak about what's positive. You want to read about positive things rather than reading about the negative all the time. I agree with that. There's something to be said for, you know, trusting that the public will appreciate positivity rather than going for what you know, which is the negativity in the minds of others, for content creation. And only want to talk about the bad, only want to talk about complaining. Yeah, granted, sometimes even myself is drawn to negativity because we were raised in a society where a lot of people go negative first. We look for the pessimism and things based on certain things that we watch. Even in the action flicks we watch, it has to have some conflict in order for people to shoot out or whatever. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of positivity and a lot of substance that can be gained from going toward things that are good in nature. And sometimes those who create content tend to forget that. They only want to go with the negative. And it doesn't really provide anybody anything of substance. It just riles up that negativity within them, and then they take that outside and believe that's the world they're in. And there's more to it than that. It's a lot more to life than just negativity and whatever, how that goes. Sin and all kinds of other stuff that really brings about the worst of consequences. There's so much more to life than just the worst of consequences. And while there's plenty of negativity out there for you to feed off of, there's also positivity from which to gain something from too. And you want to give some credence to that when you're a content creator, and not just lead the world into negative places just so it can bring your numbers up. And there's a lot of people out there who don't care nothing about anything other than their numbers. And a lot of people have a lot of pressure on them from their bosses, and that's a lot of people, to bring the numbers up. So they're going to go with what's safe, which is negativity, because people are drawn to negativity. But what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Somebody coming up with negative stuff for us to be drawn by and we get used to that, or the fact that we're actually naturally drawn to negativity? I think the former. I think it started with people being evil and then saturating the world full of that, and then people being drawn to that evil by way of the pain that they feel etc., etc. And then from there, you just become negative, never by nature. I don't want to be negative by nature. And then most recently, a good friend of mine called me negative, said I was a negative person, and that made me think about that. From my point of view, I don't think of myself as a negative person, but if you come off as a negative person, then you gotta look inside of yourself, figure out what it is that draws you to that negativity, or what otherwise make a person think you're negative. And so that's what this has kind of done for me. It's helped me understand that there's some things to look at. There's some things to look at in regards to my own ways. But I don't think that really is the way to go forward when you consider that a lot of what we do in life is built about from positivity. It's not built about from negative experiences, but more so the things that teach us lessons that don't often hurt the worst. You know, the things that hurt the worst aren't always the things that teach us the best lessons. Sometimes it's things that bring about good consequences that teach you how to live your best way. And so for me, it's like, I've gone through some struggles, but I often have a lot to be thankful for. Yeah, I've gone through some things that brought me the worst consequences, but I've also learned learned what support really means by way of having support in these circumstances for which I brought about on my own. Negativity that I brought about on my own to bring about some positive consequences from learning those lessons and being able to share them with other people. So even through the negativity, if it's not bringing about any substance, it's just emptiness. And a lot of times emptiness provides just more of the same, for which people will feel empty from watching it, or reinforce hopelessness from within those experiences that you're displaying through that emptiness. So substance is what it is that I hope to bring to the table. Above all else, substance. You know, whether I'm positive or negative, whether I'm complaining or showing you that I'm thankful, there's some substance that I hope for you will gain from that, from watching me. And so that's where I'm at with that. Doesn't get much more difficult if you have a positive and grateful mindset. Yeah, life can get hard, but you can get that strength that we were talking about in that previous video. Strength. What comes from loving the God above you and then asking him for that strength for what you will need, so that you can bring forth substance, the strength that will help you have some resistance against what is otherwise negative. Or if you're a content creator, adhering to what works as opposed to trailblazing something positive and seeing if that'll work for you and taking that risk, seeing if it will bring about something that can bring forth some good into the lives of others. That's what you want, because that's what's going to make you stand out in a world full of people doing things for numbers, in a world full of people doing things just for the negative draw that comes with doing things negatively. You can do things positively. It may or may not work, but the strength to allow it to fail or have that risk of failure is what you need, so that you can be more of a service to things rather than just more of the same for which works. That's easy. You don't need a whole lot of strength to go through what's easy, you know? And that's what the problem is. A lot of the people who do provide us content aren't strong people. They have strong work ethic. They have strong desire to take what works and apply it to what they'll do next. But do they have the strength to risk not having the numbers? Do they have the strength to risk maybe not having as much of a draw so that they can have some substance for what it is that they do? I think the answer we found a lot of the time is no. People just do whatever works. Is that exactly what they'll be willing to do? And for me, I'm more of a risk taker in that way. I think I have a bit more strength than they have, or they're able to display. You feel me? That's what it really comes down to. I don't care that it doesn't work. I don't care that I don't get the numbers. Am I pleased with the content I provided? Do I think someone could get something from it if they were to watch it? If they were to stumble upon it, do they get more from it than they may have gotten from those weak individuals who need things to work in order for them to do them? It must be a safe bet in order for me to do it. Nah, that's trash. A lot of times those safe bets are nothing. They don't provide any substance. They're just more of the same. More of the same, keeping people walking in the same direction, falling off the same damn cliff. If I'm trying to save somebody off of that cliff that everybody's falling off of, I got to do things that maybe don't work to save a few. And then maybe those few can tell a few of y'all what it is that they saw over here, and then we could change the norms entirely. But somebody has to be willing to do something that doesn't yet work in order for it to work. Some people want to push the culture forward, others want to change it or evolve it. And if we're only doing the same old cookie cutter, if this works, let's do it. Get my numbers, let's hoard the money, and that's my strength. It's in the comfort and the safety of having all. Then you're not going to be moving forward in anything that's going to help the culture. And when someone does change the culture, you're going to be drowned out by the same old stuff from which you've been. Cookie cutter, run of the mill, copy and paste. It's a million of that. Yeah, it worked in a day, but it didn't age at all. Nobody cared about it after a while. They didn't care about it when it came out. That type of stuff, man, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go left while everybody else goes right. Show strength while everybody else shows weakness. And move in a direction that works for me rather than just works, period. And that's how I feel about it. And that's the strength I want the Lord to keep me going towards as things start to work. As they begin to work, then I say, well, let me not duplicate the same old stuff. I'm not afraid for things not to work after they do work. That's the strength I want. People are afraid of falling off, so they're just going to do whatever. And a lot of times they end up failing when they do that. You see it in music. Artists that have a strong identity in underground type of style, and then they try to go mainstream, and that for which they do is not authentic, so it sucks. You see it a lot. You see it with rock bands too, or whatever. As soon as they start trying to go into that cookie cutter machine for things to get easier for them, or for them to live up to what otherwise is difficult, and not wanting to fail, they ended up coercing themselves right toward that same failure from which they're afraid of. Just by getting away from what was true to them, which likely got them the small amount of success that they were able to ever receive. But they weren't strong enough to maintain and to be appreciative of that success. They needed more, and in trying to get more, they ended up getting less, or ended up providing something that didn't well represent them at all. I don't want that. I don't want that to be my legacy in any way. I don't have too many lives to live. So the one I get right, the one I do, needs to be authentic. And maybe you say, well, he's afraid to not be authentic. That's not strength. And I weigh that against the substance I look to provide in being authentic. For those who are saying I'm just an inverted version of the weakness that I'm talking about. It's not. It's not. Because you're doing it for the right reasons. Otherwise, it wouldn't be inauthentic if you tried to go otherwise. And if I were really a cookie cutter type of only find what works kind of guy, then that would be what would be true to me. But that doesn't come naturally to me. This comes naturally to me. Not giving one damn about numbers and how many people are supporting what I'm doing, looking for that support outside of myself when I put on my headphones and listen to what it is I've made. You know, that don't come naturally to me, looking for other people to give me validation for the content I do. I'm more so looking to enjoy it myself, and I trust by way of the strength from the Lord above that it will reach the right audience, and when it does, that audience will do whatever they want to do with the content itself. Maybe they share it with somebody else, maybe they don't. But as far as me needing you to make me rich off of what it is I do, not necessarily. I would like to experience wealth if it's meant for me to be well with it. I want the good that comes with the things I get. And if nothing good comes from it or with it, or if I'm gonna have worse days in my life because of it, I'm not gonna expect that it's any good for me. Just because I've been told that that's what I should want doesn't mean that those who have it knows what it looks like when it's in my possession. And so I don't know what comes with what. So I say if the Lord wants me to be successful, then I say he puts me in a position from which good things can come from that success, or at least substance and strength can come from which good things may not. If it's meant for me to be successful and hate being successful, I'd like for the strength from which to endure. You see what I'm saying? It's the things that you got to ask for. That we were talking about in our strength video. It's an extension of the same conversation, basically. And some people get success and they hate it. Some of the biggest stars in the world are the most miserable people. Because that fame was never any good for them. They were good for the world for having it, but it was hell for them to live through. Or for them to have gotten it becomes a drug that they can't let go of, so now it's hell for them to lose it when it falls off. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of those dependencies no more than I want a dependency on my homegirl Kay. When she don't hit me up in the morning, I don't feel okay because of it. That's a dependency no different than fame, no different than any other drug. And the weakness that comes with it, I have no desire for it, if I'm being completely honest with you. And so for me, it's like, yeah, do I want to be famous? Due to those who told me fame is something to want, I would otherwise, yes, want that. But if somebody told me how every day would go, and I don't like how that goes, then of course not. I don't want what comes my way if I don't want it when I have it. If a psychic came to my life and told me, you're going to be famous as hell, but every day of your fame, you're going to hate it. You're going to get all kinds of money, but that money is going to lead to your doom and the doom of the people you love. If that's what they tell me, then of course I don't want no damn fame. No, I don't want that. I don't want what comes with that. But how am I to know? I don't know. You just listen to a lot of people who say they know, tell you what it is you should want. And by way of us not being able to think for ourselves, or not having that relationship with God to help us discern that such a thing could even be possible, we just end up welcoming the wrong things into our lives, the wrong people into our lives, by way of the dependency and the weakness of not wanting to fail, for which you don't know what fail actually looks like in your life. No different than you know what success looks like in your life. You just know you want it. You know others told you what it is to be. Others will guilt trip you and culture you into thinking that's what's best for you. You don't know what comes with what. Your fame may have it so that you end up on that plane that crashes. You don't want that. You think you want that because everybody told you want that. But you want to live long enough to see your kids grow up. And by way of your fame, you will be on that plane. And that, my friends, is why we ask for gifts of a divine nature, of God's choosing, not necessarily anything specifically, as if we know what comes with it when we get it, or know how dependent we become upon it when it's taken away. That's wisdom, man. And the only thing that you should truly want in this life is wisdom, because that's going to be what helps you have the best days and survive the longest. I don't know what comes with what. And that's what I try to drill into everybody who watches me enough, so that they understand not to welcome the wrong stuff into their lives. You ask for the strength for the specific walk you're on, for gifts of a divine nature of God's choosing, and you try to do your very best to be the best you can be by giving substance from what it is that you are doing. That, my friends, it's the real way to go if you ask me. That's the real way to go. Everything else, you hope. You roll the dice, you hope. And by way of your actions, you get the best consequences, but you don't know. By way of your ambition and what it is that you're building, that you bring forth happiness, but a lot of people suffer from what it is they build, man. They don't get any happiness out of that. In some cases. Others, it's everything they ever wanted, of course. Others, it's exactly what they hoped it would be and more. There are some people out there who are living the dream and they're happy with that dream. And everybody around them is happy with their dream. And they end up proud and this is perfect. And that's exactly what they were supposed to have. But you know what I tell them, just like anybody else? Keep watching. There's more calendar to fold. There's more stuff coming. It only got that good up until that point, then it can still go a certain way. And maybe you ain't gonna be pleased with it. People living, getting away with stuff. A lot of people. They've been getting away with stuff for a long time, but tomorrow's coming. They don't know they don't necessarily know that their secret's gonna stay in the dark tomorrow. They better enjoy today. And I would say that to anybody who's enjoying a good day, regardless of your circumstances, regardless if you're trying to build something that ain't built yet, you're trying to be patient, and you ain't found that patience within yourself or whatever. If you're having a good day, you better enjoy that day. You better look around and enjoy that moment. Kid you not. Because you don't know what comes with what. It's the realest thing I can say, man. Be present. I say the same thing to people who are pushing people away. Just like my homegirl Kay, pushing me all the way away. You better appreciate the people who love you while they're in your life. As many times as we woken up and we get that bad phone call As many times as we woken up and find ourselves in circumstances where we have to move away or don't have contact with people that we love, you better enjoy the people in your life while they love you. You do that wrong thing and they end up leaving your life, you find yourself missing them, and you didn't have to ever miss them, but because you didn't cherish them, they gone now. You better enjoy people while they're there, man. And that's another thing. While you chasing your success, putting people aside, people getting on LeBron James because he want to go see his son play at USC. Bro, you know how many times his son gonna play in USC? He only gonna be there for a maximum of 4 years, and he's likely gonna be one and done. LeBron better go see that damn game. Forget these Lakers. Forget these people telling you that you need to put your career first when you're already in year 21 and won all these championships. What the hell somebody gotta tell you? Go see your son play. Don't listen to the critics who put everything that they want above the people that they love, and then when the people that they love pass away, they're miserable about it. Yeah, you got your success, but you're in a house by yourself. You better enjoy the people around you. Don't let these people who are bankrupt in spirituality psych you out of your happiness and psych you out of things that matter in your life. People who want what you have, who didn't get what you have, now want you to be grateful in ways that only they can understand from the lens of not doing what they needed to do to get as far as they wanted to go, or not putting people first in their lives that they ultimately are missing now. Don't let them psych you into your own unhappiness by way of their mistakes and their poor view on the world. That's what I would tell a guy like LeBron James. Go see your son play, bro. You almost lost him 7 months ago. What the hell anybody got to say to you? And I'm your age, bro. Don't let nobody, no soul, tell you that you need to be putting anything at all over what matters most to you. Because they prioritize different things in their lives a different way. Hell no. Go to hell and stay there. That's what I would tell anybody who has something to say to me about that. I don't have a son. So I would tell a guy who's my age, who has a grown son, to watch him play, fam. Go watch him play. As a Laker fan, go watch him play, bro. Don't listen to these people who want you to put their interests above your son. F them. For real, for real. And that's from the heart. If I had a son to go watch play, that's exactly what I would do. Whether I had responsibilities to a basketball team or the responsibilities I have to myself right now. You watch your kid, man. You only get that moment, that time. He only gonna have one first game. That's it. And so that's what I have to say, man. I've been thinking that in my mind. I'm glad I was able to say it in this video. That's important, man. And if anybody knows LeBron James, send him that excerpt. And that's coming from a Laker fan of over 30 years. Who wants nothing more than to win every game and win every championship. But I tell you right now, there's nothing comes before family, because your life means more to you in the grand scheme of things than what people tell you need to be measuring as important. What people tell you need to be measuring as important. Your family should mean more to you than that, in my opinion. Especially if you got good people within your family or you're trying to raise good people. If you're responsible for raising good people, you got to show them by example of what matters most. And if it's going to be the wrong things, then you can expect they're going to follow that example or hold it against you for doing things the wrong way in their view, for them to have to unlearn. Nah, you ain't got to do that. Your son is your greatest gift in this life. Your sons and your family, the people that matter to you, your closest loved ones, they're the best thing you got going on in this world, man. Not your accomplishment, not what you're going to build, not for which can be taken away from you. Success and all these other people's measurements of their wealth and all this. Everybody can lose money, man. You're going to still have that same son. Or you can have all the money in the world, and if that son is gone, you lost your son. Like, it ain't nothing more important. Nothing. And that's coming from somebody who don't have a whole lot of family. Don't have a whole lot. Don't have no son. So that's what I'm telling everybody, man. Put them first. They may not be perfect. Maybe they got their ways. Maybe they don't vibe with you. Maybe you don't get along with them that well. But if you can find a way closer to them while they're still here, while you're still here, etc. Do that for yourself. You deserve that. You deserve that. And mind you, some people can't get along with their family. Maybe you are best without certain people. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what's right for you. I don't know. Everybody's related to somebody, and they're bad people in this world. I get that. But if you got good people in your life, man, cherish them. Be a better person for them. Don't wait for the right time for things to get right in your life for you to want them around. It's the biggest mistake we can make. That time may not come around. You got somebody in your life you love, you want to marry them. Work toward that right now. Work toward that right now. And if maybe that looks different in your life, maybe that means getting away. Maybe that means you're going to get some help for some things mentally. Maybe that means stepping away and getting your finances right. I don't know what that looks like in your life. But work toward that with the intention of making that happen. Don't assume that you can start later. You know that person's in your life, you love that person, do something that helps you be at peace with how you treated them today. Give them a call, send them a text. Let her know you care. Pray for them if you can't reach out. That's a good one. A lot of people don't realize how good that one can be. Maybe it ain't meant for you to reach out to them. Maybe it's most important that you pray for them in this moment. But that is what you need to do. And let that be what it is. Ask for the strength to reach out if that's what's needed. Or in my case, ask for the strength to not. Y'all know my situation. That's what it was. I prayed about my friend, my loved one this morning. Lord told me to be quiet. So I ain't reach out. That's the best way to show love. Pray for her rather than reach out to her. And maybe by way of the path that I'm on by doing that, we all have better days. You know, but granted, it's emotioning toward loving that person in the moment and trying to do what's best so that I don't regret that in this moment. Maybe if I would have hit her up, we have an argument. Maybe if I would have hit her up, I'd have felt worse about her when she didn't respond. It doesn't necessarily look the same in everybody's life. These are just the circumstances from which mine are. And it may not look nothing like that in your world, man. But what makes sense in your world is to do what you know you likely will be most happy with in regards to the people that you know mean the most to you. And I hope that on the other end of this, you really consider it. You really consider that. Because I can tell you, man, there have been many times when my mother asked me if I wanted to go to the movies, I said nah. Or if I wanted to go to dinner with her, I said nah. Or if I just, I could have gave her a call, she would have answered the phone quick. And now, if I want to see my mom, I got to look into my Bible because there's a picture there. You understand what I'm saying? There's a picture there. Or I can go to her grave site and sit up and look at a plaque. It's as real as it gets. A lot of y'all don't care nothing about doing what it matters in the moment because y'all think that day ain't coming where that family member gonna be in the plaque. But believe me, if they're not, you will be. Somebody got to go first. If it ain't gonna be them, it's gonna be you. And as bleak and as sad and as negative as that sounds, it should only coerce you into having substance toward them right now while they're here. Substance, friend. It's not about harping on the negative. That's not negative. That's reality. And I'm telling you, from somebody who didn't call, who didn't spend the night over my mom's house very much when I should have, who didn't go with her to church. Many times she wanted me to go to church. I ain't want to go to no dang church. Not with you, not with anybody else. Well, now I would go anywhere with her. I'd go to the DMV line with my mom right now if she was still walking. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the truth. Too late. Get it right in the moment. Get it right now. And stop putting yourself and your accomplishments and your work and your money and all these other different things of non-substance over those people. Stop doing it. Rarely do people find themselves pleased with that in the end. Rarely. Not if they have any substance to their spirit at all. Rarely. All you're going to do is end up in that unhappy home by yourself. I saw a meme of that showed me something like that. It was a man laying next to his wife, but he had his back to her looking at his phone. she had a sad face like she wanted to communicate with him. And in the next page, you saw him laying in that bed where the phone used to be is a picture of her, and she ain't in that bed no more. And he's holding that picture crying, and you know what happened. Maybe he should have put that phone down and communicated with her. Maybe he'd feel a lot better about that moment. Maybe not. But the point is, she was there. And he didn't care. He was too busy taking her for granted, taking the moment for granted. And when she was gone, he was up there miserable. Don't let it happen. Stop doing that. Stop letting modern culture, especially us in the Western world, stop letting modern culture do that to us. It's meant to do that to us. It wants us to suffer certain ills that are unnecessary and to stay as far away from substance and wisdom as possible. We need to know that. It's not just sheepish, oh my God, we just happen to be doing the wrong things. No, that's the dream. That is the enemy's dream. It's exactly what it's like that. So we need to combat that with positivity if possible, substance most definitely, and just motioning toward people that care about you to the best of your ability. BDF 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.